Yo, what's up, gang? Welcome back to the Research Grindset podcast, where we turn AP research period into nothing but pure grussel. I'm PJ, your go-to for getting into the academic hustle mindset. Today, we're spilling on how I went from clueless in AP research to making the best research paper in the nation. Alright, let's get into the topic picking. First things first, you gotta pick something that actually fires you up. I realize I learn hecka fast, like I catch on to stuff quicker than a super senior attracts to a freshman. But what motivation do I have? What reason do I have to do more? Meanwhile, my hobbies, they're pure hype. Like I will pour all my time into them for every optimization I can get my hands on. So I dove into the research rabbit hole, peeped past studies, and found nobody had ever compared gifted students' hobby motivation and their school grind. Boom. Instant niche, instant gap. Pro tip, if it's not something you're already thinking about whenever you're bored, scrap it and find something that actually vibes. Next move, find out how you'll get data to analyze. The easiest way for me, surveys. What could possibly be better than asking people for their input? It gives instant variety and unpredictable results, perfect for doing a research project. First, build a survey that doesn't suck. I used methods from two big existing studies, one on school drive and one on hobby passion, and I mashed them together, filling my gap. Then I hit up NCSSM, a school that had the gifted students I wanted to survey. And I was like, yo, help me blast this to your crew. They hooked me up, and let me tell you, I got some of the best data around. Real talk though, my first survey draft, hot garbage. I didn't plan how I was going to use the answers. It was a total flop. So I went back in and completely changed the survey. I mapped every question to a clear goal and polished it till it shimmered. Let me tell you, don't be afraid to redo your work, alright? And this doesn't just apply to surveys. If you can't tell me exactly how you plan to use the data from your method, then you're cooked low-key. Moral of the story, you can't think with a short-term mindset, alright? Don't think about now. Think about not now. Alright, let me tell you about how I plan to use my survey data. You know, I'm not that motivated to grind out my schoolwork, but the drive I have to pursue my hobbies is something else, man. So I predicted that this would be a trend. If gifted students reply to my survey saying they are deeply involved in a hobby, then I predicted that they would be more likely to be unmotivated for school. Responses started rolling in, and guess what? People who live for their hobbies didn't really have much of a correlation to being zoned out in school, but hey, it's about the journey, not the destination. And that's why I still consider this a W in the books. Plus, there were some other conclusions that I was able to draw, but I won't bore you with the details. After all, more time talking means less time grinding. Real talk though, if you do only collect a small amount of data, your claims just can't be significant. Don't flex too hard about your claims if your data only came from your group chat. Next step, you gotta connect your results to other research papers. My work, it's got potential. Teachers could use my conclusions to tweak their lessons. Students can figure out their own motivation. You know the vibe. But yeah, my sample was just 20 kids from NCSSM, so don't go shouting definitive proof from the rooftops. But yeah, other researchers could definitely expand on my conclusions later on. Think of it as a solid pilot episode, not the Netflix finale. If you want to be an alpha male, then you can acknowledge your limits early. Like while you're planning your survey, imagine every possible thing that could hold you back and cut it out ahead of time. Anyways, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Research Grindset podcast. Remember, don't just study, overstudy. Catch you next time when we turn APA citations into passive income. Stay hungry, stay curious, and keep grinding.